Good morning, 7th and 8th graders. It is super nice out this morning. So I hope you guys, after you do a little art and do a little school, that you get outside because it's so awesome. Okay, so I know in Mr. Johnson's class at St. Brendan's, 8th graders are reading Fahrenheit 451. Anyway, I read this book a long time ago, pretty amazing book. And what I wanted us to do today is I wanted us to design our own book cover. Okay, you can do Fahrenheit 451, but it can't be any of the covers that you see on that have already been printed. And there's a few different versions. So I just kind of came up with this. I sketched this out this morning. And so I was kind of doing a play on camping. And so in their like fire pit, they have books stacked up and there's some hot dogs and the hammock has the title of the book and the author name is kind of engraved into the tree there. Anyway, so what I want you guys to think about is placement. So right now, the higher up it is on the page, the title, people are going to notice it more. Obviously, if it's way high up, people might miss it, but we're going to read from left to right, from down, from top to bottom, and we want to make the message clear. If you've since Mr. Johnson's kiddos are in the middle of reading this, they understand what the book is about, and I'm pretty sure if you look at what I have drawn, you can kind of understand what's happening here. They're going to burn these books, but in such a casual, what we normally think of as fun setting. So I thought that was kind of an interesting twist. So you can redo Fahrenheit 451, or if you're reading a book that you love at home, 7th or 8th graders, you can redo that book as well, or instead, okay? Again, placement. I want you to think about negative space and positive space. I don't want things to be super symmetrical, or if you do something super symmetrical, it better be the most obviously symmetrical thing that you've ever done. So you have to think readability. Right away, you're going to notice the title, okay? The title needs to be very obvious. Okay? The author name should be fairly obvious. Mine's a little bit hidden over here. Okay? Think about where you're putting things. So right now, I kind of can look at the title and it goes a little bit around like this. So our eyes are naturally going to do this, and I've drawn things in that fashion so people see everything. You don't want it to be too crowded, okay? So if you want to, you can go online, look at posters. So I'm talking about a little bit of graphic design here, okay? 7th and 8th graders, look at some posters, look at other book covers and see what strikes your fancy. But really this is, other than trying to make a really readable and discernible cover of a book, it's really all about your creativity. I really want you guys to think about this. I'm going to go ahead and I do want to see some 3D, okay? So you can see that I've got books stacked in all different directions. And you're seeing those 3-dimensionally. Now this is a sketch, okay? So it's done, I did it fairly fast. And that's okay, but I did end up making everything 3-dimensional. So please do that, and I will go ahead and what I'm gonna do today for you guys is I'm gonna show you how to create some 3D if you're stacking something, okay? And at your level, at your age, this should be something, and I'm trying to fix there we go. This should be something that you can do. Okay, so I'll do this part of my book cover a little bit bigger. So all I did was I just started, I started with a book And I'm just doing the edges of the books. I do rectangles in all different sizes. I started with just this. Then I thought, okay, maybe I would have a book stacked this way. Okay, make sure that if you're stacking, if something is laying on something, that it's touching it, okay? When I was done doing my stack of books, that is when I created them in 3D, all right? I took what I had drawn, these simple rectangular shapes, and put some 3D to them. So I just, honestly, I just I didn't put a ton of thought into it. I just started to draw my books. I definitely think it looks a lot more interesting if the books are different sizes. Right now I'm noticing I kind of have the same size. And I did the same thing too. I think a lot of the time, hopefully my head isn't in the way here, make sure. I think a lot of the time we start drawing and we're so judgmental about what we're doing right away that we don't get through it because we keep judging ourselves. So I want you to really try not to do that. Okay? If you do something that you for some reason don't like, you can erase. It's not a big deal, right? The biggest deal is just getting something on your paper, okay? Okay, so I've done a little bit of stacking here. Now I want to show you how to create this in 3D here. So you can see like my lines aren't perfect, whatever, and I'm not worrying about it. Like you can just get something down. I sketched this in like 30 minutes, you guys. And I didn't worry about if I messed up. I didn't worry about any of these things. When I got done kind of sketching the outline, then I just very fast filled in. So if I was going to actually create this book cover, this would be my idea, right? I would just sketch it out as I was feeling it. I didn't think of all this at once. My first thought was I want books piled in a fire pit like people are camping. And then ideas popped into my head. I was like, oh, I want like a log with hot dogs on a stick. And then I started, I should have a camping chair. And I know where I want to put the title. I want to put it in a hammock. And it didn't come all at once. And then I just threw it all together. And if I was going to keep doing this, I would sketch some more. I'd probably it's just like writing something. You put down a rough draft, you edit, you do another rough draft, you edit, and then finally get to the point where you can draw it extremely slowly and beautifully, put tons of detail and all of that, and that's your final draft. Okay, that's why it's really important, and I know I'm talking a lot here, to not judge the first thing you put down on paper. You just need to do it. You just need to go for it. Okay, so back to drawing, creating these books in 3D. So go ahead, and what you're going to do is we need to remember where we're looking at the books or whatever it is that you're stacking, to make sure that we understand where to put that 3-dimensional aspect to things. Okay, so this book is laying on its side, and I thought, well, I want to see the pages. This is essentially the bottom of the book, and so I rounded and thickened the top and the bottom, what would be the top and the bottom, and then did some really fast lines to kind of make you think of pages right there like that. So it's laying down. It might be too dark in here to see the rest of the book because we see like the face or the other side of the book, and I just kind of pretended to do some writing on it, okay, just like that. And then like this book is laying on its side, but we have other books on top of it, but we do have the other side of the book. So you can see this is basically pages, so we'll thicken those up again. And again, I'm going kind of fast. I'm sketching, okay? And then I put a line here because we're creating essentially a box, a rectangular box. I put a line back here to indicate the other side of my book in between here. So this book is standing, let's say this is the spine of the book, okay? I want to have a top, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 parallel lines. We don't really see them because this book is laying on top. We stop when we get to that book. And then down here, we're going to see a little bit here as well. So go ahead and make another parallel line down here, okay? So it's an angled line from this corner and this corner. Then I go down here because I'm going to see a little bit of that book, and I make sure to do another one of those angled lines. They should all be parallel to each other. So this book, let's say we see the bottom of the book just like these guys here. So we'll thicken that up, the sides, and do some of those lines. So again, we want to see that parallel line. So we're going to see a little bit more of this book from the corners. You're doing those lines, okay? Depends on how long you want your book to be, and I'm going to put a top on it. So from this corner, I did an angled line. This corner, I don't need to from this corner because that book is there. And then this line and this line are parallel. And that's basically how we create boxes. We create these lines. And I know you guys know that, how to do this already, but we're reviewing just in case we forget here. So I'm going to go through all my books and do that. And you can pick how you want your books facing, or whatever it is you decide to draw. But I want things to be done in 3 dimension, okay? Now I'm seeing the spine of my book here. That means I want to thicken this up, top, bottom. Okay, this is the spine. I'm not seeing anything more than the spine on this book because this book is in front of it, okay? Is laying on top of it. Let's see, what did I forget? This book here. Let's go ahead and get the top going right here. Make sure that if the top is going here, we need to make sure to get some side action over on this side. So the corners, I'm doing these same parallel lines, kind of hanging off the edge here. Okay, I'm making it a little longer. Okay, and like, where do you want the pages to be? Do you want them on this side, this side? I think I'm gonna do this side here. Okay. Okay, so that is kind of an easy, fast way of creating 3-dimensional boxes. In our case, these are books. So please, 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 again, I'll reiterate, we're creating a different version, a different cover of a book that we love. Now, if you're reading Fahrenheit 451, I would love for you to do that book. Now, if you're in 7th grade, you probably aren't reading this book. So pick a book that you love. And if you can, maybe when you email these to me, also in the email, tell me what book you're doing. Well, I guess it'll be in the title, so never mind. And I'll look it up just so I can see the difference between your idea and the original illustrator's idea for that particular book. Have fun with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Please don't freak yourself out by judging what you're doing too much. Okay, guys? I miss you, 7th and 8th graders. Have a great day. Bye.